So I wanted to use this time to kind of have Tanner, give some feedback because he's killing it. He's definitely killing it. I think this is probably going to be your biggest month yet, Tanner. I mean, the first week out, you're at 12 grand. Tanner, I see you on the call. Can you hear me? Can you unmute?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up, man?
What's up, bro? Looking good, man.
Thank you, man. Same to you. Rocking the dad stash.
So, no, I like it, man. I noticed it. Looks good, though, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm actually at because this is a 5-week month. Yeah, I'm at 19,300 for the month so far.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I mean, what were we going? We going for 50?
Yeah, that's the goal. I'm taking a few days off, so I'm pushing hard right now because I'm taking a trip with some old friends, but going for 50 this month. I did 38 last month, so.
Yeah, let's do 50. Wow, 38, nice.
Strong. Yeah, with the conference.
Nice.
So
yeah, so let's shoot for that 50, man. I know we all know your struggles. We all know we know you persevere through a lot. So let's kind of share it. I know you've been doing this hybrid thing. You've been doing a little bit of Zooms and phone calls, and you also still go out in the house. How much would you say your business is in the house and over the phone right now?
Still 90% in the home.
Just like me.
Yeah. Listen, it's like, so you have to be successful in the homes before you're successful on the phone, first of all. I don't care who you are. It's just, you have to be, because you got to get that personality out and learn how to use it and talk to the people, make them feel comfortable with you while getting the sale at the same time. So I think it's extremely important that you have the in-home, side of things. And then with the in-home, when you start mastering that, then the phone calls start coming naturally. So when you're on the phone with people booking appointments, that's typically when I make my phone sales, because it leads directly into a sale. Informing them, letting them know what the best coverage is, what they got from over the phone wasn't the best coverage for them. We have to find what they actually qualify for to get them much better rates, yada, yada. And then they ask for a rate, you give them a rate, and it naturally leads to, because I'm very good in the homes with people. So on the phones, I just treat it the same exact way. And I naturally lead them to that sale all the way through. And there's not really, just like in home, there's not really an option to say no really when you get to that point, because you found all of their needs by talking to them. And then you're just showing them the options. So it's just whichever one they pick, just like in the home. So that's why in home is very important, I think.
I'd like to talk a little bit about the psychology of it. And guys, if you have any questions or anything to add, either put your hand up in the chat or drop it in the chat. We're going to dive a little deep in this one. So the psychology behind, the sale of insurance, right? And insurance is either, most of the time is an emotional sell. Sometimes it can be a rational sell. You got two different people, right? But for the most part, we'll say in the market that we're dealing with, especially if we're dealing with the CRM leads or final expense, most times the people who fill that out is because something just happened. A family member just passed away. They just had a close call. So you got to bring the person that you're sitting at home with back to the time they felt when they filled it out. Exactly. So I do a few things. And Tanner, by all means, I'm going to talk to you and I want you to kind of give me some of your nuggets. I'm going to give you a few of mine. One of the biggest things I always like to ask in a home is, when's the last time you experienced the loss of a loved one? Mm-hmm. And everybody experienced it. Maybe it was 2 weeks ago, a month ago, it doesn't really matter. Someone experienced something, right? And they're going to have the good or a bad story. Once you get it out of the way, I'm going to look at you, I'm going to say, now I understand exactly why we're here. And guess what? We just got finished laughing. We got finished looking at the kids on the wall, but I'm serious at this point. My face doesn't change. I'm very serious and direct because I want you to understand how serious I take this, and I want you to take it as such, right? Also, I'm gathering ammo. So guys, when you start getting chargebacks or people call you and things like that, I had a policy that was getting ready to lapse. And I just called the client and I'm like, hey man, how's everything? I thought you was getting this for your daughter. And we started talking about his daughter because I got the information in the beginning, right? So when it was about to lapse, we talked about his daughter a little bit, we made a joke. And then before you know it, he was actually saying, hey man, you know what? I'm gonna keep this going on and I'm gonna try to increase it in the next couple of months when I get this new job.
I actually have, just to go right with that, I 100% agree. Almost in every single home I'm with, one of the most important questions I ask that turns and shifts the entire appointment straight towards the sale is always, when you filled this form out, who were you thinking of? What were you thinking of? And who and what are you trying to protect? Because everyone's thinking of something when they fill it out, whether they filled out a mailer or they filled it out or clicked it online, it's because they're thinking of something. So who is that person, or what is that thing that you were thinking of when you signed up for this and requested the information? And just like what you said, when they feed that back to you, right? Because they're going to open up if they see that you're being sincere with them. So they open up and they tell you, and then boom, that's it. Okay, so we need to do this. And I do that every appointment. I had a same thing. Some lady, she wanted to cancel it, right? She actually texted me before she did it. She's like, hey, Tanner, I'm really sorry, but I'm going to cancel this policy. I'm going to stick with what my son has for me. I spoke with him and he kind of convinced me. But I remember her, and I put notes underneath people's names when I saved them on my phone. So I remember that she told me she wanted this coverage because the coverage that he had for her was under his job, but he's constantly switching jobs, right? So she didn't feel very secure, like she was taken care of, because he was constantly switching jobs and getting new insurances. So we wrote that coverage to make sure she was safe. I got on the phone with her, had a brief 5-minute conversation, said our hellos, goofed off a little bit, and I just went straight to business. So why are you trying to cancel this policy when you know that the one that your son has isn't going to be there forever? And that was it. You know, she kept the policy. She texted me a couple of days later, said, thank you for calling me, and we're good to go. You know what I mean? So it's finding that need is always not only going to get you or put you in the right direction to find the right coverage for them, but then it helps you in the long run too.
That makes total sense. I mean, a lot of what we do in this business, right, is mentality, right? And your mentality, like, you have the Mamba mentality. You always had it. That's why it's a pleasure working with you, because, you know, you just have it, right? But that takes time. You have to develop that. You've been through some things in your life before insurance, out of insurance. You're an athlete. I know you raced cars before, and you know, you're a sports guy. So, you know, that comes with that territory, right? One of the biggest things that I really want to talk about today is more of the psychology of the overall business, right? From start to finish. And kind of what I want to say is, like, it's all mental. First thing you got to think about is, in order for you to set yourself up for success in this business, you need to get yourself to a point where you're spending at least $1,500 a week on leads. Now, initially, everybody can't start out there, right? But eventually you need to get there, because the longer you take to get there, you're playing this race where you're kind of almost chasing your tail, right? If you're spending less than $1,500 a week on leads, you're still kind of working a job, right? Because you're going to have just enough, right? They say job is J-O-B, just over broke. So you're going to be profitable enough that you can pay your bills, but you're not going to be a profit enough that you can really have that entrepreneur spirit, and you can start using this extra capital that's going to come in to run a business, right? So I'm just going to talk about what it's supposed to look like, right? And everybody that's on the line that don't have a strategy, or we haven't talked and put a plan together for you to write 30K plus a month, then we'll do that offline. But typically you're spending $1,500 a week on leads, and you're literally trying to book between 25 to 30 appointments a week, right? So let's say 30 appointments a week, which is not crazy, right? That's literally 15 appointments every dial day when you break it down. Monday, you're booking 15 for Tuesday and Wednesday. And then Thursday, you're booking 15 for Friday and Saturday. With 30 appointments, what it's allowing you to do is allowing you to build your confidence. Even though you're not the best in the business, you're still learning, you're building your confidence, right? If you have 30 appointments in a given week, right? Let's just go over the first 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday. 5 of them are going to no-show you, right? Are rescheduled right there when you get on the doorstep. Like, dude, I saw you cut the lights out. Like, I saw you. Like, come on, man. Like, when that happens, right? It's part of the business. And then you're going to have 5. We all been through it, right?
Yeah.
So then the next 5, what's going to happen is you're going to get in the house and they don't have a bank account. You're going to get in the house and they had a heart attack last week, but yet they want $500,000. And if they can't get $500,000, it's showing you to do it. And you're looking at them like, all right, you can't do anything, right? Then the next one is going to be crazy out their mind. They're taking 20 psych meds and there's nothing you can do. You shouldn't even be there because you're already getting nervous. Get out of here. I mean, it just happens, right?
I had one of those last week.
We all had. I mean, we all had the ones where we're like, man, I know why you're taking the meds for a reason. This is serious. And you just get out of it. And then you have 5 that are serious, right? Now, here's what's not talked about enough. 3 are lay downs. 3, anybody can get them because they want it. The other 2 that actually want it, you kind of got to dig in a little bit, right? You got to kind of, pull that emotion out, figure out why you're there, and you're going to get those 2 cells, right? So the average cell is going to be about 500, right? Because our comp levels, it could be a lot more. I know everybody on the call is probably like, man, my average cell is $1,000. Don't matter. That's under promise this. $500. So that's 2,500. That's 2,500. And I'm talking, direct hits. Let's put it that way. So you have 5 families, roughly is going to equal around 2,500, give or take, right? You do that twice a week, you're looking at about 5K, right? That's your sweet zone. If you spend 1,500 and you get 5K, that's 3,500 as a profit, right? That's 7,000 every 2 weeks. That's 1,400 every month, 14,000 every month. That's right around the time you can start the scale, right? You can start to scale. Is there going to be some people that's going to have better numbers? Absolutely. Right? Is there some weeks the numbers are going to be better? Yeah, absolutely. But you're going to be right around that part until you start getting really good and you start smelling the bull crap, the BS, right? And what I mean by that is you get really good. If you run 30 appointments enough a week, you'll get really good at knowing who's serious and who not, right? So when I'm on the phone, like my appointment setting is like this. Hey, Tanner, and it's because I have enough leads and it's because I spend enough money. Hey, Tanner, getting back to you about the life insurance inquiry you put online. It's the first thing I'm saying. Life insurance inquiry you put online. I want you to know this is life insurance, and I want you to know you filled it out, and I want you to not play games with me. So my tone is very low. About the life insurance inquiry you filled out online, I'm your underwriter assigned to you. I'm just here to show you your options and get you coverage. Any heart attack, cancer, or stroke in the last 2 to 5 years. I want to know your health. Any minor things, high blood pressure, or diabetes. Perfect. Hey, listen, some of these programs, they give discounts with bank affiliations. Who do you bank with? Perfect. All right, my job is simple, right? I want to know if you have a bank account because I don't want to waste time.
Yeah, I like that.
Right? But when you have enough leads, you can just cut to the crap. Like, look, if you don't have a bank account, no point in me wasting my time. And it's not, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you get a bank account because if you don't have a bank account and you're sending direct bill and you're doing this, you're borrowing the insurance. And borrowing the insurance is not going to help you and it's not going to help me. So the next thing I'm saying is, hey, I want to say, hey, I represent over the top 10 to 15 carriers nationally. We're always able to maybe find someone the most affordable price at the best benefit. The reason I'm saying affordable price and best benefit is because I want you to know this costs money. I don't want to get to the house and you say, oh, I had to pay for this? No, we have to pay for this. Yes, of course. I mean, hey, you had to pay your car note, right? You bought the car, right? No one gave it to you. Okay. Same thing with this. No one's going to give you a $100,000 tax-free check when you pass to your family or $10,000. The government, Social Security give you $250. And then you have to qualify for that, right? Mm-hmm. So these are some things that I'm doing when I'm setting my appointment. After I book it, the next thing I'm doing is I'm going to say, all right, really quickly, can you grab a pen? I have to give you a confirmation number. Let me know when you're ready. So then they're going to go get the pen and they're writing it down. And then can we get his script? Yes, you'll have my script, Brian. I have Genesis. Make sure she send it to you guys in email. Everybody on the call. I'll send it to the group. So I'm saying, hey, they grabbed the pen. They're writing my confirmation number down. I use the same one, 080975. I've been using it for like, I don't know how long. So they write that down. And then after they write that down, I tell them, write my first name and last name, and write field underwriter, write the time and the date, and the day, Wednesday. And then the last thing I end with is, hey, Tanner, when I come by, should I park in the driveway or is it street parking?
It's all grass. Park where you want, buddy.
Perfect. Reason for that is I want you to know I'm coming out, because then that's your time to hit me right there up front. Hit me with everything on the phone, because I'd much rather get hit on the phone than get hit at the door. Oh, I didn't know you was coming by, or they just totally forgot about you. But when you tell somebody, am I parking on the street or the driveway, they see you coming. They see your car parking up. They see you parking somewhere and they're telling you. And some of them give you directions. Hey, park on the grass. Now I know it's all grass, just park anywhere. I'll write that on the paper. Or you're going to tell me, oh, you got to come out? Yeah, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, I do have to come out. HIPAA just make sure that you're not strapped to a hospital bed, and so that I can show you my state license, right? So you can verify me. That's why I show you my state license. And then so I can verify that you're not strapped to a hospital bed. That's fair enough. I mean, you're not going to get a much robust. If they're really serious about insurance, they'll understand. You have to show them a state license so they know you're legit, and you have to see them and talk about their health to make sure they're not on the deathbed.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
My script is definitely different than that, but I gotta say my ending is almost the same.
Right, because you're tying it down, bro. You have to tie it down because you don't want to waste your gas, waste your time. And you want to set good appointments, right? Because it's very much more solid to have 10 solid appointments than the 20 sketchy.
Yeah, that don't know what's going on.
Exactly. You're not here to trick people into appointments. And expect you're here to do the opposite.
Yep.
I say life insurance because if you say this wasn't life insurance, then I'm going to say life insurance. I don't remember doing that. Well, you put your name down as such and such, your date of birth as such and such. I see your address as such and such, zip code 19345. And you also put down you were a non-smoker. I don't care if it says they're a smoker or not a non-smoker. I just say that.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, were you ever looking for insurance? Did you already take care of it? And then usually they say, oh yeah, I took care of it. Perfect. Yeah, that's exactly why I'm calling. Go ahead, hit me. What would you say when I say I already took care of it?
I already got it. I already got it online, man.
Perfect. That's exactly why I'm calling. There's some new rates that open up in your area where I'm able to save people half on what they currently have or give them double the coverage for the same price. If I can show you something like that, you're reminded for about 3 to 5 minutes.
Not really. I already got coverage. I don't like changing. I trust the people I'm with, man.
All right, no problem. Have a good day. Click.
Yeah. See me,
I play this game where I try to hang up on you before you hang up on me. I'm just crazy like that. So like, anybody that's not, listen, think about this. Anybody that's not willing to save money and is so loyal to a company that don't give a crap about them, or an agent that they never met or something like that, they got on the phone, is either one or two things. They're just very close-minded and I'm really not trying to, waste their time because I got too many other leads of people who want me or need my help, or they're just bullcrapping. They don't have it. They don't want it. They're not interested. Some people are really not interested. Just understand this, guys. Some people are really not interested. Nothing you say or do are going to make them more interested. So just take it for what it is.
Sales off of sticking with those though. So I do a lot of differences. I do a lot of one month internet leads, right? Okay. That's like my forte, because when I started out, I didn't want to invest that much. I was scared to invest a lot. Typically, like if I put $500 in, and like, let's say I put $500 in leads for the next 2 dial days, then I'm going to write 5,000. If I put $1,000 in, then I'm going to go write 10,000. But I didn't always trust the process. So because of a lack of leads in my area. So typically I had to work these leads in order to make these appointments, right? Because I have a finite amount of leads that I can buy in my area. I can't drive very far because when I started doing this business, my body couldn't handle it. So I'm like, how do I capitalize on a smaller amount of leads and still make the same amount of money? So like when I'm on the phone, I'm all about making you comfortable at first with who I am, that I'm not a telemarketer. I'm calling from the benefits office right here in your county, reaching out about the form that you filled out and sent in to us. You put your date of birth down here, Kairi, as 12/22 of 1993. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Great. All right. And then Kairi, you also put down here that you're living over in Spring Hill. Is that correct? You still have that address?
Yeah, but I kind of took care of this already. I'm all right, buddy.
That's all good, Kairi. So actually, my job is simply just to come out and show you all the state regulated programs here. the difference between me and like a salesperson over the phone that talks to you about a single carrier or company is we actually sit down and go over what's best for you with all the different companies so that you know that your family's getting what's best for them and you're always protected. It takes about 10, 15 minutes. I actually take the time to come out to you. That way that I can see you in person and find the needs so that I can serve you the best way I can. Kairi, I'm actually going to be in your area tomorrow. I got a 2 o'clock appointment. If you're okay with that, I'll drop by and get that information to you.
2 o'clock's not really good because I work. I don't get off to 5.
Oh, that's fine. Okay. I actually only have a later one though. Is 6:30 going to be okay with you? Maybe you have time to relax when you get home for a little bit.
Yeah, 6:30 at work. I'll be home.
Great.
All right, come out?
What's that?
You're gonna come out?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm going to come out to you. I'll take the time to come out and see you in person. That way we can actually go over your needs in person. Helps me understand you a little bit better, as well as get you the discounted rates by doing the underwriting together. Okay. Now, Kairi, when I get out there to your home, the first thing I got to ask is, do you have a bunch of stairs or anything? I got to make sure I can make it up to you because I'm actually paralyzed and missing a leg.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir. Yeah. But I'll still take the time to come out to you as long as you don't have 3 flights of stairs to get up without railings. How's your house?
No. What we can do is you can come through the backside and you can roll up.
Perfect. All right, man. I'm actually going to be walking, so you'll notice me. I'll have my cane and my state license around my neck. I'll be driving a white Honda Civic. Kairi, can you grab a piece of paper for me? I'm going to give you a confirmation code, my license number, and a couple things you'll need to have when I arrive.
Sure.
All right, great. All right, Kairi, so you can write down my name is Tanner, Tanner, like your skin gets tanner from the sun. Great. All right. And then put down my license number is W611413. All right. The appointment's for tomorrow on the 11th. That's going to be at 4 p.m. And Kairi, the confirmation code here is going to be S like Sam, C like Charlie, 7722. Make sure you keep this paper, Kairi, because when I get there, I have to make sure and see that you have that number that I gave you, that confirmation code, and then we can start the appointment, okay? So keep that handy with you, all right?
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
make sure they remember that. They don't remember writing
that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, they never remember just writing down the appointment or writing down the time, right? A lot of them are
remember that confirmation.
They remember they got to have that piece of paper. They're going to put it somewhere. They're going to set it somewhere. They're going to remember that piece of paper.
That's nice. That was a great script. So guys, Tanner, what I'm going to do is I'm going to replay this back again. We're going to have it on YouTube for everybody to watch, whoever asked that question. But we're going to get that script typed up in kind of harness because there's a lot of key things you said in that throughout your script. Some really, really good nuggets. I like the confirmation at the end of you telling them, hey, make sure you have this piece of paper because they'll remember. And then they'll understand you said discount codes. Hey, this confirmation number is going to allow us to be able to find the discounted rates. So all they remember is trigger words. There's trigger words in there. One of the trigger words was, discounted. Everybody wants discounts, right? Everybody's looking for a little leg up, right? Especially with the
it's free too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Free
and they know it's not free. There you go.
Yeah,
there you go. Right there. When you say discount, that means there's a price involved.
Yeah.
So I love it. It's a lot of psychology in that. That's one thing. You tell them to have that paper ready. When you get there, a lot of times they probably have it right there on the kitchen table.
Yep. Yeah. Or they're laughing and goofing off about like, oh, I forgot to get this and put it down. Sometimes I don't ask for it. They don't show me. It's whatever. We sit down.
You don't care.
So, it depends on the client, but I always do that because it makes the no-show rate so much better, especially if you're working on the cheaper 1 month internet leads. Sorry about the baby,
don't worry about it, bro. Come on, man. I got 3 kids myself. You're good.
Yeah, last month I wrote when I wrote the 38K last month, right? Yeah. I did that kind of like to show a couple of new agents, right? Because the 1 month internet leads are only $4. Right. And so you can get a ton of them and go out and just be productive with them.
So I like to be transparent with what that looks like, right? Because when I first started in the business, I was dialing those same leads, right? And I always tell people, maybe I actually want your honest feedback. This is, but for me, when I had got those leads, I had to make sure I had 3 or 4 times as many I would have with new leads, right? So, and then secondly, I would dial longer, right? So I prepared myself for 18 hours a week, dialing on the phone. Sometimes it's less. Very often, I mean, very, 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 not very often. It was longer than that. But I like to give myself more time. So what I would do is on a Monday, I would get myself ready for 9 hours on the phone.
Yep.
Because I wouldn't leave until I had 15 to 20 appointments. Now, if I get 15, 20 appointments in 4 hours, good, I'm out of here.
Yep.
But if it takes the whole 9, then I'm here for 9. And that was something I discussed with my fiance and my kids, and well, pretty much her, because my kids 6 and 2, and two-year-olds. So 3 kids and her, we had to have that conversation.
You got to talk to them at least. Yeah, I did the same thing.
Exactly. So that conversation was like, hey, on these days, there's going to be longer days, right? I'll dial for 9 hours. So I'll start dialing maybe at 9 a.m. And what I would do is I would dial 3 hours straight from 9 to 12 with not very many interruptions, right? I may have my water, may have something in between, but I'm very focused because I'm looking forward to that break. Because once I dial for those 3 hours and I book whatever I book in that morning time, I get a whole hour break. And literally, I take my hour break. Once that hour break is done, I'm back on the phones again at 1. And I'm dialing again another 3 hours straight. And I'm off the phones at 4, and I'm taking another hour break. And I'm back on the phones again at 5, and I'm going from 5 straight to 9 if I have to. Sometimes I go from 5 to 7, I'm done, all my days booked up. Sometimes by 5 o'clock I'm booked up. Sometimes it took me to 9, but I'm dialing until I have that 15 to 20. So I just prepared myself for that. I do that twice a week. It wasn't very hard for me to get my 30 appointments, but I understood, right, that this is a business we can scale, right? So if Tanner is great in the house, right? I mean, you can hear him, you can tell that he's like, I would buy insurance from you any day. Let alone definitely book an appointment.
Give me a call.
If I didn't want insurance, right? I want to see this guy that's getting ready to show up to my house and that's that dedicated and passionate about this business that he's willing to come here with his leg. And I want to see it. I want to have this conversation. I'm a curious guy, right? I'm like, this guy is in such good spirit. I want to talk to this guy. Yeah. So I would have invited you just to talk to you and then probably bought insurance. But the beautiful thing about it is your close ratio is 100%, right? No. I'm over exaggerating, but you have a high,
honestly,
you have a high close ratio, right?
Yeah.
But Tanner, check this. At 100% close ratio, if you have 20 appointments let's say 10 appointments for the week, and you close all 100% of your 10 appointments, and your average sell is 500. It's $5,000. If I close 50% of my appointments and I have 30,
yeah, right? Yeah, you're still making the same money.
Actually, more.
Actually, you're making more. Yeah,
because I'm selling 15 out of 30, so yeah. I'm making 7,500. Mm-hmm. Once you understand that dynamic, then you understand that the top producers are not necessarily the ones who have the best close ratios, who are the most personable, who has the best personality, who all their clients love them. It's just the ones that stack the odds in their favors and the numbers in their favors. So it all starts with understanding the 3 things that are most important in this business, which is buying leads, booking appointments, and then helping families. And you have to have a heart of service, right? So when you go in a house, you got to actually care. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So when you go in a home and you don't know something, call Tanner, call me, call Corey, call Cindy, call Jeff, call Abdul, call a manager, call Nico, Terry, call a manager, right? Get that help. Because when you're sitting with a client and they say, I have this such a health issue, but I had problems. And you say, well, you know what? I think I have something in mind, but let me call Tanner and just double check. Hey, Tanner, I have this, and that going on. They have high blood pressure, diabetes. They're taking metformin and insulin. Do you think I should go with CBO or something else? And the Tanner's going to say, right off the bat, Tanner's going to say, you got to go something else, insulin. You can't get CBO, so don't be risky. Yeah, let's go with something else. Boom. But just how you know that off the bat, now they come back and say, hey, that's exactly what I was thinking, Tanner. I'm going to go proceed. Get off the phone. You help them out. They loved it.
I've done that 2-3 times in the past week to other people just to get their advice or opinion on IUL or something I was going for. Why not? right?
And
It
that's
shows,
beautiful.
it shows the client that you care about them, you don't care about yourself, right? I'm gonna do what's best for you over what's best for myself or how I look as a professional, right? Because as a professional, you actually look better, even if you don't think you do, when you make that phone call.
And here's the thing, take your mindset, we're not salesmen, we're service people, right? And I'm gonna give you a good way to look at this. Someone filled out something online or filled out something in the mail. They gave you all the information. They told you they want to know more about life insurance or mortgage protection. You picked up the phone, you called them. They answered your call and they accepted an appointment with you. They allowed you to come out to their house. They opened the door and sat down with you to talk specifically about life insurance or mortgage protection, the product that we offer. For them not to be open-minded, it's like me picking up the phone, calling Domino's, ordering pizza, and when the delivery man gets to my door, me saying I don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a delivery guy, bro. You requested this. I'm just here to find out the best option for you. When you called the pizza place, how can I help you?
Mm-hmm.
When you fill this out, how can I help you? When you put this in, how can I help you? So the biggest thing, like what you do in the home, is you ask questions.
How can I serve you is what I like. Yeah, exactly. I always say, how can I serve you?
Yep. How can we? And if you got that mindset, this business becomes almost easy if you do the other two things. Mm-hmm. It gets very hard when you have not many appointments, right? Because you get in the house, if you only have 2 appointments for the day, you end up spending 2 hours in the house that they weren't going to get it. Yeah. They didn't want your help. So you should have got out of there. And then you go to the second one and you kind of compromise and force to sell when they told you they couldn't afford it because they didn't have a job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should get
and
out
now
of
you get a chargeback.
Yeah.
When you have 8 appointments in a day, the first thing you want to do is, you know, how I always open up is, I need you to sell me why I need to give you a presentation in the first 2 minutes. So the first thing I'm saying is, hey, Tanner, usually 3 reasons people fill this out is 1, you have life insurance. 2, you don't have life insurance, but you don't want to leave a burden to your family. You want to leave a legacy. And the third reason is you have a policy that's expiring or it has lapsed. Which one are you?
My policy is about to expire.
Okay, is that through your job?
Yes.
Okay, so you want to get some permanent insurance that you own and kind of, you know, take a burden away. Is that?
I don't know. They said they offered me to keep it, so I might just do that because I trust the company already after, you know, being with them for 25 years.
Okay, you've been with the company for 25 years.
Yeah, so I might as well just take the coverage that I have and just make it permanent when I leave that company. But I was just looking around. I was just curious.
Yeah, no problem. Do you know much about the group term that you're in?
Not really. Sorry, real quick, Osman. I say that because it's just a better way to say it. I come from a Christian background and I figure I'm out here serving. You know what I mean? So I'd rather serve you the best way I can because that's my goal inside of a home. Sorry about that, Kairi.
No, you're good. So, but that was we're getting somewhere, guys. Because I'm pretty sure everybody on this call has someone say they had job insurance, that they trust their job, they've been with the company. And if you haven't, trust me, you will. You will very soon.
And I just want to keep that coverage because it's easier, right? That's when I retire, they'll just take it out of my retirement check. I was just curious, man.
I like this. So let's stay here. Basically, if you guys notice that I'm not trying to disrupt what he said, right? I'm just asking him questions, right? The person who asks the most questions wins, right? I'm in control. So I just want to know how much he knows about that policy before I start educating him about it. Because if you go straight off and start educating, it's kind of like friction. It's almost like, then he's going to come back. Then you're going to come back. And then you're going to be stuck in the middle, and then he's going to be stubborn. He's going to stick to where he is. You're going to walk out of there. You're going to be upset like, this guy is, I know this is better for him. Why is he not doing it? And it's just because the approach. So the best way to ease tension is ask questions. He may know a lot about the coverage. He might not know nothing, but we're going to find out how much you know by asking. So that group, you know, And that's the group term that you had. I'm assuming you're speaking on, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Do you understand how that works?
I just know I can take it over, make it permanent. I had 3 times my salary, so I think it was like 120,000.
And how long have you had that?
I think I've had it since I've been at the company, so like 25 years.
Okay, so you understand in insurance, it goes based off age, right? The older you are, the more expensive, and that's why we're looking around, because the price is going to increase, correct?
Sure.
Okay, so I just want to inform you a little bit about how those group terms work. The reason I'm using the word group, because it is a group term, so it's taking all of you guys' age and also all of you guys' health, and it's throwing it into a group. So you pay a little bit less because you're older, but someone else that's younger in the group pays a little bit more because you're older, right? Now, when you separate yourself from the group, you no longer have the benefit of equalizing the age, meaning you have a 21-year-old in a group and a 55-year-old in a group, which if you break that in half, now you're 30. When you leave the group, you have to pay at the age of 55, okay? And typically, it's still a term, right? Because those are the type of products they offer. Now, the pricing is going to be a lot more expensive because they cater to groups, not individuals. So in that case, you kind of pay for that. What my job today is to do is kind of look around and show you some permanent insurance. And I represent a lot of carriers. We're going to look at some different options. I like to educate first, okay? Let me ask you a question. Are you looking for coverage just to kind of protect your family so you don't leave a burden? Or are you looking to leave a little bit more of a legacy behind?
A little bit of both. I think making sure that my family has money when I pass away, if that's an early time or something, that makes me feel better. But I don't know. I like that $120,000 that I have right now. That's probably a good range for me. Okay,
perfect. I asked that question, right, guys? If you're not asking that question at that point in the beginning, before you even get into a presentation and everything, that's going to take why you're writing maybe lower apps, and maybe can higher your premium you collect. And I'll tell you the truth. The people who spend $30, $40 on policies versus the ones that spend $100, $200 on policies, the smaller ones lapse before the bigger ones, because it has to take a big enough of a value for them to actually want to spend that amount. And what I'm doing is I'm finding the value. So you want to ask, hey, just because it's a final expense lead doesn't mean that's what that person looks for. So you want to ask them, hey, are you looking for just enough to kind of handle final arrangements like burial and things, or you want to leave a little bit more of a legacy? And when they say that, here's what I'm going to say next. Because sometimes people say, I want 120,000, but they only can afford 50. So here's where you equalize that. Hey, Tanner.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do today is I want to cover your entire need, okay? But I also want to make sure I stay within your budget. I want to make sure I marry the two, marry your need and your budget. If I'm able to marry those two, is there any reason that we don't take this burden off of you and put it on an insurance company?
I still have to check what my company's going to offer and talk to my wife.
Okay, so the wife part shouldn't happen. Tanner, you're giving me some good jewels here. So when you're booking an appointment, the wife part shouldn't happen. What is that called, Tanner? You remember?
Yeah, it's one leg, man.
Boom.
It's
one
like
legger. One legger. All right. So guys, you should not have a one legger. If someone has a spouse, you should ask them, is this information for you or your spouse? It's for me and my spouse, sir.
Yeah, exactly. Me and my wife.
All right. So perfect. Is the time that we set for 3 p.m. good for you and your wife?
No, she's not going to be home.
Okay. What's her schedule like?
I don't know. We'd have to talk to her.
All right. So here's what we have to do. Does she work typically a 9 to 5, or does she?
She's kind of all over the place. She's a hospice nurse. So I don't know.
Okay.
You could probably call back tomorrow morning and we can talk about an appointment with her. She might be home then.
Let's do that. So look, guess what? I won't book that appointment. That's a waste of time, and I can put somebody else in that slot. So guess what? I'll take you on your offer. Hey, Tanner, I'm going to call you back tomorrow morning. Is 9 a.m. good for you guys? Will she be there? Or is she more of a early person, maybe 7.
Yeah,
I'm up at
you have
6.
to call like 8 a.m.
8 a.m.
Yeah.
That's no problem. I'm usually up at 6 anyway. So I give her a call. I give you guys a call at 8. It'll probably be a 30-second conversation. If you could just tell her tonight that I will be calling at 8, this way she can have her schedule handy, and I'll make sure I do the same. We'll book a good date that works for both of us, and you know, be in and out 15, 20 minutes during that date. Sounds good?
Yeah, sounds good. I'll talk to her.
Talk to you tomorrow at 8.
That's how a lot of them go too. Yeah, I agree. I do the same thing pretty much.
It's better to schedule a call back.
Yep.
Than to book that at one later, because when you get in the home, the last thing I want to do is I want to talk about my wife. Now, when you say, hey, I want to run it by my company, I'm going to ask you, you know, hey, let me ask you this. Do you have the policy? Or do you have a certificate?
No, I don't.
Do you have anything?
No.
Okay, so is there any way that you can pull up something online, or, you know, how because the biggest thing,
all the company.
The biggest thing I want to say, man, is we both understand life insurance is not tangible.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I always like for all of my clients to have a document of a policy, right?
Yeah.
Right. So that way it's very, very easy and clear cut for the beneficiary to be able to claim the proceeds, you know?
Yeah, I should probably
then,
get.
Yeah. So yeah, we definitely want to have something. So why don't we do this, right? Let's kind of look at some of these options. If we find something that works for us, we'll place it, okay? And what we'll do is there's something called a free look, right?
Yeah,
you have 30 days.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna.
Yeah, 30 days to free look this thing.
Yep.
You know, if it's not exactly what I say it to be, and we look at the literature and it's not that, and you free look it to give you all your money back. It's, you know, you were covered for 30 days for the 120,000. It's their risk more than yours. The second thing is that gives you 30 days to kind of get the policy number and get all the logistics, right? And what I want you to do is I want you to use me as your personal professional. When you get all the information, I'm going to give you a few things at the end before I leave to get. And then I'm going to set another day to come back out and go over your existing policy that we place, as well as the benefits that you'll get from there. We'll compare apples to oranges, and we'll make the best decision for yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
You're walking out of the house with that application. You're going to come back. You're going to compare apples to oranges. You're going to realize what you set them up is a lot better than what the policy that's going to convert on. And then he's going to give you a bunch of referrals of his friends and people that he worked with for years at the job. He's been there for 25 years. I'm sure he has some good connections. Yep. And you got a bunch of referrals because you took care of him.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's real, because that's closes that happen on a daily basis that you have to use that. The free look period is one of the best things for yourself, because not only do they like the idea that they have the 30 days to make sure that it's the right decision, I always like to throw into, if you want to take the time to look around and see if there's anything out there as well, make sure that I got the best thing for you, because you don't know I got the best thing for you, even though I do. That's fine. And let me know if you find any other company, and we can discuss it and see and make sure it's what's best for you. Because if it is, I'll let you go with that company. And they'll never call back. And if they do, it's just an ad that they saw on TV or in the mail or something that's absolute BS, and you shut it right down and the policy stays in force.
And guys, I mean, you just hit a jaw right there with the job insurance, because that's probably one of the biggest objections you're going to have to overcome, right? Because people are so confident in the job they've been working at 25 years. But when you kind of ask them questions instead of telling them, like, I could have easily said, hey, Tanner, you know that job insurance is term. You know that job insurance is a group. You know it's going to be 10 times more expensive than you already have. You know, and you would have got defensive immediately, right? And I wouldn't have got the sell. Instead, I did the opposite. I asked you questions about it, and you started realizing how much you didn't know. And then I just threw a little bit of doubt there, just a little bit. I say, hey, Tanner, I like for everybody that I place insurance with to have an actual policy and a document that spells out everything and makes it simple for the beneficiary, right? And then I say, we can agree that life insurance is not tangible. And then you're thinking about, like, dang, I probably should have that type of stuff.
Yep.
Hey, Tanner, do you even have a policy number?
I don't. No.
So Tanner, you know, what we're going to do is we're going to place this in policy. We're going to place this in place so we can have something here that's going to be enforced. You have a 30-day free look where you're going to be able to get all the information there. I'll come back and you'll use me as a professional to kind of go over everything and explain everything in layman's terms, compare apples and oranges, and we'll see which makes best sense for you. But right now, we need to place something where you have a policy number that if something happens tomorrow, your wife can call in and give the policy number. Versus right now, if something happened, she don't know who to contact. HR, you know, the insurance company, all these third and fourth parties are different people that she has to keep jumping through hoops who she may never get to the source. Did that make sense?
Yep. Yeah.
Guys, any questions before we close out? Drop them in the chat, raise your hand. Otherwise, Tanner, I'm going to kind of close it out so that you can kind of leave any jewels or nuggets for some new agents. We have a lot of new agents that's on this call. This is mostly for us. What's a good recommendation, whether they're new in the business or been in the business and just new to the FFL system?
Understand that they're people like you. I think that's something that scared me at the beginning. I'm not one to dial a ton of people or do that or be on the phones a lot. But I learned to love the phones because I learned to love the people I'm talking to. So when your attitude changes when you're talking to them, their attitude changes when they're talking to you. So never let, you know, I've seen a lot of agents that hit a hard point in their sales when they're new, and then they quit or they give up and they end up losing instead of winning because their mindset gets wrong. So if you don't make a sale, you know, I did Monday, I didn't make a single sale. Or Tuesday, didn't make a single sale training with my sister. And I had 7 appointments, didn't make a single sale, and then backed it up the next day and made enough that I needed to make. So don't ever let one day or one appointment or one missed appointment over the phones affect your next one.
That's good. That's very good, Tanner. I'll leave this with you guys. Y'all always, you know, everybody probably heard me say it enough. I got guys probably looking like, man, it's coming. My uncle, yeah, there you go. I got an agent in my office just said it, but poor, right? My uncle gave it to me. God rest his soul. He said, poor is passing over our opportunity repeatedly, passing over opportunities repeatedly, right? It's a mindset, right? Guys, the average salary for an FFL agent, and that's factoring all the part-time people, all the full-time people, is $117,000 a year, which is 6 figures. So if you're average and follow the system, you make 6 figures. Now, I always believe averages are calculated wrong because I usually think that average is a little higher because you got to calculate the people who take it for granted, who go out and can make $1,000 in a day and kind of just get lazy, right? I believe the average salary for an agent who takes this seriously should be between 150,000 to 250 to 400 to $1 million, right? If we got agents who walked across that stage at conference who wrote over $1 million personally, you know, we had over 71 Hall of Fame producers who produced over 400,000. We had, God knows how many people who wrote over 250 and how many people wrote over 100. Then you can do it. Don't pass over an opportunity that may be a God-sent opportunity that's here to change your life, but not only your life, but the people that's following behind you. We all have a story, right? We all have a story. It's supposed to be written. And sometimes you got to complete your story and your purpose, not for yourself, but for the single mom that you don't know that's supposed to be a part of your agency, and that's going to change her family life forever. Or for the veteran that just served his country or served our country and can't find a decent job, comes into this business and is able to provide for his family and keep his sanity. For the person that was homeless, who got into this opportunity, who will be able to purchase their house and get into real estate later and become the next real estate mogul. So just think about it like this, guys. Your story is not only for you. Your path is not only for you, especially in this business, because it costs nothing to help somebody else out and open up the opportunity, but it's so much to gain. I'll leave it there, and I'll close the call out. And guys, put in the group chat any guys that you watch on YouTube, anybody that you guys want on here, Tanner, including you, and we'll try to get them coming up in our schedule and try to get some more people on. I just wanted to kind of, get my voice back on here, and not be too far away, and get people like Tanner, who's killing it within our group, to kind of get his voice out there. Pleasure having all of you guys. Pleasure being in business with you guys. And I just look forward to growing and making this business amazing and changing the next person's life. All right, guys.